Well, that's new. You are live. It tells you you're live now. That's very cute. Okay, we're live. We do have ticks on everything. StreamYard, you're doing your job. Well done. And welcome everybody to what is, if I've done my maths right, maybe the last LinkedIn Live or Facebook Live or YouTube Live for 2021. What an absolute epic year it has been. We have done over 50 shows. I think this might be the 55th shows this year, and that's pretty good. That's at one point when we first started doing this, it was 3 times a week. So I don't know how I had time to do anything else, to be honest. It was pretty full on. So now we've pulled it back a fair bit. It's once a fortnight, and it's still, that half an hour of goodness that you can, put on in the background while you're doing other stuff. But ultimately, the show has gone on, which has been really, really lovely, and such amazing feedback that has come through from people either watching it live or watching it later on, and putting the applications that we discuss and the tactics and the strategies that we discuss into application, I should say, into the way that they do business to help them create a value-driven brand, a trusted and value-driven brand, just what we love around here. And when you get that trusted and value-driven brand, you're well on your way to getting that value-driven life. So don't mind me. I'm babysitting 3 dogs at the moment. No, I'm not babysitting 3 dogs. I'm babysitting 2 extra dogs, which means I have 3 dogs and one of them's a bit spastic. He's frustratingly crazy. Puppies, they say. Don't work with children and animals. But what do you do? So don't mind them. Anyway, today we are having a little bit of a reflection on what was 2021 for you. And if you are around, feel free to come and say hi in the chat. Oh, hello, Kay. You are amazing, Aileen. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a safe and prosperous New Year. You are so wonderful and beautiful. Thank you. And I love that you come and hang out and check out what's going on. And as a business owner yourself, I hope that some of the stuff that we've talked about this year has been of some help. So that is always lovely. And thank you. That's so kind. You too, you and the family. So I want to hear from you what 2021 has been like for you in business. Now, for the majority of businesses around the world, and especially those in Australia, more so those in Melbourne and a little bit in Sydney. I had to laugh. I was watching something recently and someone in Sydney said we've had the toughest lockdown laws in Australia. I'm like, mate, hold my beer. As if. But ultimately, it's not a competition. It is where we should be coming to have some solidarity for each other. We have all essentially been in the same boat, and how it's affected each of our businesses has been very different. I've had some clients who have gone absolute gangbusters, I tell you, like 6 and 10 times over their average revenue. And it is an amazing feat for them to have successfully navigated and charted through those experiences and actually have kept hold of a lot of their customers, which I think is just a fascinating and fantastic case study in the sense of how they overcame essentially they didn't expect to get that growth. They had to be really agile. They had to be really flexible and put the customer first. Absolutely put the customer first, and it has paid off dividends for them, because now as everything kind of teeters back into a level of normal, they have kept those customers. So what that tells me is their customer experience has been a quality enough customer experience that it has driven customer loyalty. And although they've changed some of their employees, and, you know, in those situations, what tends to happen is you sort the wheat from the chaff, and basically, you know, team members who aren't built for that type of business pressure, they tend to deselect. I was going to say the rubbish takes itself out, but if I'm being diplomatic, they deselect, and ultimately you get the opportunity to really start to really understand what is the type of employee that you not just want for your business, but you bloody well need. You need someone who can have the capacity to, you know, have high energy and sustain that level of business that's coming through that you now are keeping. So congratulations to those businesses. Some businesses collapsed. Some through choice, some decided it wasn't for them anymore, and some just couldn't sustain the prolonged closures, and you know, decided that it was time to go and do something different with their life. So, you know, again, kind of it's that, you know, it's a shit situation, but it's got a silver lining nonetheless. And I think, you know, I'm one of those annoying people where someone could die and I'll be like, yeah, but the silver lining is, you know, like I find the silver lining in some of the most weirdest of places. But I do think that if you can't reframe the way that you think about things, then you're perpetually going to see everything as a negative, and you're perpetually putting yourself in a position where you're always a victim. And God, who's got fucking time for that? Like, absolutely, your advice is awesome. Oh, thank you. I'm blushing. You're a champion. Thanks, Kay. But yeah, so 2021 has been, I don't know, a shit show for some and just a gold mine for others. And it's been really fascinating from a business consulting frame to watch and observe how people are treating their businesses and how people are treating other businesses, and also what their plans are for next year. So we just had, you might not know, I run a group coaching business accelerator program called the Momentum Business Accelerator. I call it my MBA. It's very cute. And actually we just had our last mastermind for the year, which is where everyone in the group comes together and they do their reflection on the whole year at the end of the year. We reflect on the whole year, and then we actually go into planning our goals and priorities for the whole of next year. So all of my group coaching clients are now sorted for next year. And the really interesting thing is trying to ascertain that balance between, do we go into crisis mode, which is, you know, when I say crisis mode, from a PR, public relations point of view and a business point of view, if you don't have a crisis management plan, please bloody well get one. If after the last 2 years you haven't realized why you might need one, what the fuck has to happen to make you realize you might need a crisis management plan? So a crisis management plan is essentially just the plan B, right? You have plan A. Plan A is when the world is running as per it should and it's on its axis and people need your products and services, that everything's going smokingly great. But then sometimes shit happens. And, you know, like COVID, that's a major shit happens. And it has a dramatic effect on the way that you run your business. So that is where things like a crisis management plan comes into play. So if you don't have one of those, please, you know, and you want to get one or you don't know what to do, please DM me and I can help you with that. That won't be a problem. I mean, look, they're not the sexiest of things to do, to be honest, but in the last couple of years, again, like we've really started to understand the need for having a backup plan, because ultimately the government won't, here in Australia, although it was done very oddly, in some countries there was no government support for business owners. None. So whether you watch this and you're in Australia, or whether you watch this and you're overseas, and when I looked at the stats, I was actually quite shocked at how many of the viewers are actually overseas. So I guess I kind of need to target this to both audiences, the homegrown and the international. But if you don't have a plan B documented, and it can't be in here, mate, because I tell you, when shit hits the fan, the last thing you are doing is thinking clearly, right? So when you have something that is documented, that is created in a moment of clarity and sanity, that is going to help you when, and so this is where we were kind of like, is it an if or a when? Is it a definitely like we're going to be going through this for the third year in a row? Or is it a let's pretend everything could be fine and presume everything we want to achieve is achievable? So we kind of found a bit of a balance between the two. But so it's called the Momentum Business Accelerator. I don't know if you can see that. I got them all to write out what momentum will look like. What is their momentum manifestation for 2022? And I tell you, some of the responses were just, oh, I'm not crying. I got sand in my eyes. I was so emotional. I was so proud of them all. And just the visions that they all have for their business is just so positive, despite the last 2 years, despite all the changes, despite all the things that they've had to have resilience against, that they still could sit down and reflect on everything they've achieved, whether it was everything they wanted to achieve or not, and figure out what it was that they wanted for themselves and for their businesses in 2022. How were they going to create momentum in 2022? And for some of my clients, I say to them often, this isn't a race, but what it is it's the opportunity for momentum. And once you have that momentum, it really is just a matter of one step at a time. And that's all it is, right? No one's expecting you to run. There's no prize for finishing first, right? Think of it as dating, right? No one likes you finishing first. Look after everyone else first and then get yours at the end, right? So I haven't made a dating reference for a while, have I? It's been a few months, but it's really true. It's a relationship, right? So how are you going to create momentum for yourself and for your business in 2022? And if you're watching this live, I'd love to hear what you think momentum looks like for your business in 2022. Or if you watch this after it's live, you can actually go and watch not just this episode, but all of them. For mostly all of them. I think the first few didn't get recorded. But once we started recording them, they're now all available on valuedrivenbrand.com/LinkedIn Live. So you can go and load all of these live broadcasts that are in existence and go and get all the goodness from all the free education that's now available to you. And if you don't know what kind of education we're talking about, well, it really is varied. Every episode was different. We talked about, in general, our pillars of business being that the customer experience, the employee experience, and the human experience. And I love to call them the joy of sex, because separately they're all really good, fun experiences, and they help improve your business and ultimately the way you do life. Because to do customer experience really well, you have to be really good at some level of skill sets like communication, like time management, like listening, right? So all these different things. And then once you kind of master that into your brand or to your business, you then naturally will assimilate that into how you live your personal life as well. And imagine a life where people can start to communicate appropriately with each other, and imagine a life where you get to live a balance between a really amazing business that just fills your cup, metaphorically. We love that saying, don't we? But then you go home and it's not like you've got to stay at work because you fucking can't stand going home. You go home because you're equally as thrilled to be there in that life where you feel valued and where you make others feel valued as well. And that's what I want for you. That's what all this is about. So all of this happens when you put together the customer experience, the employee experience, the human experience is really the secret sauce in this. Understanding how to give people an experience that is uniquely human. And in a world filled with technology, that is always a wonderful challenge. So for me, for business, it's been really interesting. I would say I have had some really interesting offers provided, some wonderful opportunities. Some I had to think deep and hard about, and then, realize that maybe they're not quite what I need them to be. So, one of the biggest lessons I've learned this year is how to say no. And it tears me the fuck up to say no to something. And I did recently say no to something, and I can't talk too much about it because they made me sign an NDA. But I said no, and it really made me feel unwell for a few days, like I was letting them down. And it really came to the realization that I have to trust in myself, that I have the capacity to do what they were offering, but even better and faster, with like way more positive outcomes. And whether that be financial outcomes, business outcomes, positioning outcomes, a number of outcomes that could have been done just by me doing what I do. And so it's really hard. I felt like I was letting them down, but at the same time, I realized I had to keep putting that energy into what I do here, and showing up for what it is that I believe in, which is giving everybody out there an education and helping them find their passion about, why customer experience, employee experience, and human experience is so, so imperative, not just to the way that you do business, but to the way that you live your life. And so it hurt a little bit to say no. And I felt really bad that I did. But at the same time, I kind of go, okay, well, I have to believe in myself and know that I have the capacity to do what they were offering, plus a lot more in a way shorter period of time. So therefore, knowing what serves me and my audience, and knowing what serves them, and learning the difference between, trying to be everything to everyone, which we've talked about in previous episodes. If you go and look at my very first website when I went into business on my own, merakibusinesssolutions.com.au, you can go have a good giggle, because ultimately that is the biggest thirst trap. I haven't changed it on purpose. I've had the opportunity to go and rebuild that website, but I've actually kept it there on purpose because I find it a living case study of being a business owner. And so I now have 3 websites, and every single one of them has become more and more specific and more aligned with what I really actually see my purpose as being. And so I really felt like this offer was a little bit of a thirst trap where, I was going to be everything to everybody. And I have to remember that I can't be everything to everybody. And apart from the fact that it's utterly exhausting, I'm just not that person anymore. And the people pleaser in me, although it's obviously still sitting there because it's sat there for a few days feeling quite bad about saying no, the people pleaser in me is obviously not the primary part of who I am anymore. And now it's about pleasing the right people, pleasing the people who see my worth, who want to know more, who want to improve the way they do business, and who want to become worthy themselves of essentially me delivering what is, nearly 20, I'm like trying to figure out how old I am, 25 years. 25 years of, customer experience knowledge. And you'll see, like on this screen, it says CCXP. That stands for Certified Customer Experience Professional. There are less than 20 of us in Australia. I think I was the 18th to get it. The majority of CCXPs in Australia work for private corporations. When I did the math, I believe there's about 4 of us that work in the public sector, and I might be one of 2 in Melbourne. So, this is essentially like your PhD in customer experience. And then on top of that, I'm a member of the Forbes Coaches Council, which is, I'm sure as a business owner, you've heard of Forbes magazine. So, Forbes has its own coaches membership as well, where they basically interview you and then invite you to join them as a coach with their council, their coaches council. And that's a US-based membership. And, again, I think I've counted like 3 Australians in there. So, I sit here and I deliver all of this insight and information, and I do it because that is what drives me. That is the purpose that I have to help you in business. But at the same time, I also know that when it goes deeper than that, I am essentially the premium option for you to improve the way you do business. And sometimes you have to remember that yourself and let that sit, because sometimes it's hard to accept that you are like really fucking good at your job. And I am really good at my job. My old boss might not say so. I think he was jealous. Just saying. I actually do. I think he was a little bit scared. Here's a top hint. Don't go into your boss when you get your, what do you call it? Your appraisal done. And when he says, where do you see yourself in 3 years? Say, in your job. Don't do that. A fragile ego, though. It's all downhill from there. They make sure of it. So anyway, that's another story. But I do know that I love being here for you guys and sharing what I know with you so that you can start to feel that same passion about customer experience the way I do as well. So I tell you, that is going to be it for me. I am going to take this opportunity to say thank you to everyone that has watched these episodes, to everyone that has given me feedback, to everybody that has helped promote them, to everybody that has turned up and watched them live and engaged in the chat room. I thank you truly so much. It is one of the highlights of my week, getting on here and chatting live to everybody. And now I've started doing it on Instagram as well. So if you're on Instagram, you can follow me at Aileen_day_official. And on Tuesdays at 11 a.m. on Melbourne time, I jump on there, and sometimes it's not for a long time. It's for a good time, not a long time. But we have a session called Ask Aileen Anything. So if you are in business and you are on Instagram, feel free to join us every Tuesday morning at 11 a.m. And if you have questions in regards to the customer, the employee, or the human experience in business, and that can be anything from operations to customer service to answering customer feedback to how do you hire the right employee, how do you fire the wrong employee, what systems should I use to improve my workflows, all that type of stuff, marketing, sales, you name it, everything to do with the customer, the employee, and the human experience. If you have a question, feel free to join me on Instagram. Use the hashtag AskAileenAnything, and I will collect the answers and share them with you every Tuesday at 11 a.m. on Instagram. So there's another way to keep in touch and share the love on the socials. And really, just thank you to everybody. This last year and even the year before have been an absolute pinnacle of my business. I tell you, I've done more amazing shit in the last 2 years than I have in the last nearly six of being in business on my own. The first 4 years, I may as well have written them off. This last 2 years has been the piece de resistance. Oh, I said it. I really fucked that up last time I tried it. I'm not French. I'm Greek. All right, give me a break. But it really has been an opportunity for me to do some crazy cool things that I would never have considered doing had it not been maybe for COVID. So, weird fucked up way. Thanks, COVID. But again, it's that choice to reframe, and it's that choice to not be the victim despite not getting government payments. I know some of you might go, oh, you probably got government payments. I actually wasn't eligible for next to any of them. So, no, you didn't. I'm sure you weren't making that face. Maybe one of you were. But it has. It's been a really bloody hard year. And I guess, ultimately we just have to make that choice on how we tackle those challenges. How do we show up? How do we lean in? How do we grow that resilience? And all of those things have been opportunities for me to learn more and do differently this year. So for that, I am grateful. For the rest of you, I am looking forward to seeing you in the chats live in person. I will be recommencing in-person workshops next year. We have got workshops for customer experience basics. So if you are a business owner and you want to come and learn over 2 days the basics of customer experience and how to start implementing it into your business, that is a definite workshop you need to be a part of. We're looking at online versions and in-person versions. It's been requested that we do some customer service training. So we are looking into doing some customer service training. And we also have the Momentum Business Immersion, not to be confused with the Momentum Business Accelerator, which applications will reopen for the full 12-month program in January. So if that is something that is of interest to you, you can head to aileenday.com.au/services and learn more about that. That is our group coaching for business owners. And you don't have to be of any particular industry. I am what they call industry agnostic. That is the classy way of saying I'm an industry whore. And I love any type of business, because ultimately the more markets and industries that I can prove to you use the same customer experience disciplines, the better, because it really is a real broadsheet of how to do business better. So we have the Momentum Business Immersions starting back up. They are, for some of you who've been following for a while, you may remember we used to do the small business accountability boot camps. So they are one-day sessions where you come and bring whatever it is that you are working on, whatever project you've been sitting on and procrastinating and resisting getting done. You bring that in with you and you spend the day with me and a group of other wonderful business owners all doing the same thing. And I help you get your shit done, and we immerse ourselves and we get that momentum for our business. So they are going to be running one day a month, and more information will be available on the website aileenday.com.au as well. So we're just looking for a venue. That's been the hardest part, finding a venue. But if that is something that you realize that you need help with, just getting some shit done, then please DM me for more information. And then, of course, so we've got the MBA, we've got the Momentum Business Immersion, and we have a number of workshops coming up as well. So it's going to be, for me, a cracker 2022. COVID or no COVID, it can get fucked. I'm going to make this shit happen. Businesses everywhere are going to become those trusted and value-driven brands if I have anything to do with it. That is my mission. Well, that is it from me today. Thank you for everyone that's joined us. Thank you, Kate, for your beautiful and kind words. To everyone watching, if you celebrate Christmas, have a wonderful Christmas. If you don't, fuck Christmas. Have a wonderful day, whatever you are doing. And if you celebrate anything else, then go and celebrate. Go pop a bottle and have some fun. And I look forward to seeing you all back fresh, ready to create some momentum in your business for next year. And if you need anything in between then, please feel free to join me on Instagram or just DM me and let me know how I can be of service to you and your business. So that is it for me. Until next time, go out and deliver value to somebody else in your life, because we absolutely know what goes around comes around. I'm Aileen Day. Until next year.